The incredible landscapes and the changing terrain, colors and shapes. The countless stops along the roadside to capture fleeting moments of beauty. The chanced conversations that were brief yet sweet. The inviting roads, twisting and stretching ahead like a close friend running away, asking to be chased. The ice soaking in every valley, streams and river. And of course, the towering mountains watching closely my joyful journey. All this was part of this day's wonderful story. This looks so unreal. You have the sand over here. You have road on the other side of which there is a small stream of water. You have those houses over there and some trees here and the mighty mountains over there. The front facing of which looks like it. Where are you? My mother asked the previous night on the phone. Somewhere near Delhi. I lied. Tell me where exactly, she pressed, her voice edging towards concern. You wouldn't know even if I told you. I couldn't resist pushing a little further. Tell me, she insisted, her tone shifting towards concern and fear. Diskit, I finally revealed. Diskit? That far? Came her startled response. As if you know where that is, I joked. You can imagine the possible response of a worried mother. And when I told her about the people I found and met, she said, "Perfect. You meet all these people and it only makes you want this more." She was right. I had been for a few days on the road already and many more awaited ahead. And my heart dreams of more of these moments and experiences. Diskit, that's where I was that morning and was about to leave. Abhishek, a traveller from Kolkata, on road with his wife, had already set off. Knowing well about my frequent stops and off-the-road escapes, I asked them to go ahead. So there I was, alone again, the company I had made on road, now let go, and intentionally so. With the sun behind me and a dark shadow cast ahead, I eased into the journey. The narrow streets of Diskit soon gave way to expansive landscapes. Mountains rising in shades, plains on my right shifting from barren land to streams and patches of green, winding roads that invited me deeper, and the biting cold that trapped itself around me. For some reason, I was going slow, and it wasn't done on purpose. Some landscapes force you to pause, to savor, to breathe in their presence and dictate the pace. But the group of bikers who passed me had no such pause in them. They sped ahead, wheels whispering into the wind. There's a certain dualism to these places, a constant battle between the roads that beckon and the vistas that demand your attention, each stop more captivating than the last. And among all the scenic routes I had taken so far, and there were plenty of them, this felt like the most isolated and lonely. Roads sparsely traveled, a lack of greenery. The mountains, though stunning, had a somber aura that cast a reflective shadow over me. Yet, despite the grim beauty, my frequent stops proved I was enjoying every second. One stop in particular stood out, a small house, simple and decorated in two colors, white and red, and with flower pots at the entrance. It wasn't grand, but something about it made me pause, made me look a little longer, as if it held a secret, meant only for the passerby, willing to stop. Where was I heading though? I was talking to someone the previous night before dinner. "Where are you going tomorrow?" he asked. "Turtuk," I said. "Turtuk? What's there?" "Come with me to Pangong," he suggested. But on my way to Turtuk, and that's where I was heading to, the road kept tugging at me to stop, again and again. It was the kind of path that justified every pause, every lingering gaze. The journey wasn't just about what my eyes took in though. It was also about people, those I met, and those I simply observed from afar. There's something magical about turning a corner and watching lives unfold, unburdened by the weight of your stare. And in the mountains, these moments felt even more profound and enlightening. During one of my roadside stops, I saw a lady walking slowly in my direction. I was preparing to ask her for a photo, but then she suddenly took a turn off the road, and for a second, as if she didn't want to disappoint me, corrected her walk back towards me again. I was glad, only to be shattered again when she finally vanished down the side of the road. The road, meanwhile, had kept changing its shape from straight lines to zigzags to curves that seemed to mirror the mountains themselves. And then there was this van, my longest companion of the day, with a child inside singing his heart out. I couldn't help but smile. It was moments like this that thrilled me with joy, even amidst the solitude. And I love these extra patches of road, which are laid for those like me to stop, observe, and get lost. कैसे हो? ठीक है? एक फोटो ले लो आपको? Photo? Now, as heartfully scenic as everything was around here, all the charm can pull you off the reality and make you forget you're indeed sailing on two wheels, which isn't forgiving even for the slightest of mishaps. But that's the cost and risk of seeking beauty in lands far from home. And then came one of my favorite stretches of the road, the mountain brushing close to my left, an open field holding the river to my right, and this narrow ribbon of asphalt threading between them. The mountains, playful as ever, came closer and then retreated, teasing me with their distance until they seemed to reach out with rolling stones and rocks to touch the road beneath my wheels. If only I could pull you through the screen, make you sit behind me, you would understand what it felt like. And the stops kept coming, each one a new temptation. When the river came close, when the plains opened wide, when the mountains leaned in, I had no choice but to pause, to let the landscape draw me in, over and over. The occasional straight roads left my stare held on to their far end, where it appeared as if they met the guarding mountains, who were waiting with an open door. And then there were the bridges. This one, made of wooden planks, echoed beneath me as I crossed, the rhythmic clapping of wood, a reminder of the beautiful paths that awaited on the other side. The river too played its game, shifting from side to side, as if bored of flowing in one direction. And then, unexpectedly, I found myself face to face with green rocks. What's next? Pink? It was as if someone had taken a crayon box to the mountains, scribbling colors without rhyme or reason. And with every rock I passed, scattered on the road, a dark thought whispered in my mind. Shooting stones. If it happened once, it could happen again. But such thoughts are inevitable on roads like these. After all this and more, I finally reached the Thang Village, the last Indian village before the Pakistani border. Hungry, tired, and longing for rest, I met the elderly lady from previous meeting. "Why are you roaming alone? Get married, son. It will be more fun," she teased. I could only laugh, nodding along with her advice. When the journey to Thang started this morning, the story of my road trip had begun several days ago, and I pray I write about the days that had led me here, because they had moments of unforgettable kindness from absolute strangers and a heartful welcoming hospitality. The day did not end here at Thang. Something else would happen that would leave me heavy-hearted as I returned from the last village of India. Her name, with a Persian origin, translates to beautiful woman. In the simplest of attires, she appeared extraordinarily beautiful. Her name starts with Z. And if I'm not shying away, I might confide in you more about our brief meeting. But for the next, how about we go to the beginning of this road trip, to chapter 2 of The 5 Souvenirs, The Worried Mother.